North of Aarhus, atop one of the highest hills, lies Todbjerg Tower. This is an almost 100-year-old tower, but does not share its origin with other old towers. When the people of our time imagined 100-year-old towers, we often imagined them as military lookouts or signal points. A more rational thought might be that it was a water tower. But no, Todbjerg Tower was built as a landmark back in 1927. But why would a village that at the time was in the middle of nowhere decide to spend money on a landmark? Well, for that we need to look at what came before. The first structure that was built on what's now known as the Mill Hill was, funnily enough, a windmill. This was a big deal at the time because old Danish law prohibited mills to be built within one old Danish mile of each other. But in 1852, after a thorough investigation concluded that the nearest mill was just over one old Danish mile away, permission was granted to build a mill. The mill produced flour for the local farmers. However, not all windmills are built to last. And on June 15, 1918, lightning struck the mill and burned it to the ground. However, in the more than 60 years the mill stood, its economic value had fallen, and so there was no rush to rebuild it after it burnt down. However, the mill had become a landmark for the local village of Todbjerg, and apparently especially important landmark for the politician Gent Emil Egert Jensen, who lived at Skottrupsgård Manor near the mill. He lived near the mill but served in Landstinget, the at the time upper house of the Danish parliament. This meant he'd often traveled between his home and Copenhagen, mostly by boat. Gent Emil was apparently so fond of seeing the mill from the ship that he paid for a wooden structure to build on the mill site. However, the wooden tower stood for even less time than the windmill, as a summer storm on August 22, 1926 blew it down. However, at this time the locals in Todbjerg had been used to a landmark, and so they began to collect money for a stone and brick tower to be built on the site. The tower we see today was finished in June 1927 and handed over to Todbjerg village. Nowadays the tower still stands as a landmark for Todbjerg, and it's free to visit and provides a wonderful view of the surrounding landscape all year round.